It's 2026 and Fallout is everywhere. Clips are blowing up on social media, lore videos are gaining millions of views, and people who once said turn-based RPGs are boring are now explaining the moral philosophy of bottle caps. And if you're like me and have been loving Fallout since the early days, you're probably wondering, why does everyone love Fallout all of a sudden? Was it the show? The mods? Or did the world just slowly turn into the Fallout aesthetic, minus the cool retro-futuristic music? Today, I want to talk about why Fallout is having such a massive cultural resurgence, why it resonates now more than ever, and why this series, about nuclear annihilation, feels weirdly comforting in 2026, which is not a sentence I expected to say. So grab your sugar bombs and a nice cool can of Nuka-Cola Quantum and enjoy the video. Well, let's start with the Deathclaw in the room. Amazon's Fallout TV show. It didn't just succeed, it reframed Fallout for a whole new audience. Maybe it was your brother who just plays shooter games, or your grandma who is stunned when you switch the TV from HDMI 1 to HDMI 2. The point is that for the first time ever, people were able to experience Fallout without a controller. No VATs, no over-encumbered, and certainly none of those sweet Bethesda glitches we all know and love. Just the world, the tone, and the tragedy. Lucy and Maximus's humour, the ghouls' action sequences, Dogmeat just being Dogmeat. It helped all non-gamers understand why we love Fallout. It made people realise Fallout isn't just a game, it's a genre, a world of its own universe you could say. It has a vibe, and the show did a perfect job of capturing that vibe. The show also brought some actual storytelling to the series. For years, Fallout was treated like just another video game franchise, a fun world with a cool aesthetic, but not something people talked about with real weight. The TV show changed that. It made people realise Fallout isn't just interactive entertainment, it's storytelling, in the same way films and novels are. Suddenly, the conversations weren't about mechanics or graphics, but they were about themes, about consequences, about what Fallout was actually trying to say. For the first time, Fallout didn't need defending, it didn't need explaining, it was simply taken seriously. And once that door opened, people wanted to explore everything that had been behind it for years. Now let's compare this to other video game adaptations that haven't been so lucky. Let's take Halo for example. Halo is a massive franchise with a huge budget and years of built-in hype, yet it struggled to connect with the people who cared most about it. Because instead of trusting the world that the video games had built and had already existed, it tried to reinvent it. Characters were changed, themes were diluted, and the tone drifted away from what made Halo feel like Halo in the first place. Fallout, on the other hand, did the opposite. It didn't rewrite its universe to fit television. It let television take a step into Fallout's world, with its own fresh story and fresh set of characters. That's when gamers went back to New Vegas, back to Fallout 3 and 4, back to debates that never ended. But let's talk about a time before the show, before the sudden resurgence, the dark age of Fallout you could call it. Fallout just went quiet, not in a dramatic way, it wasn't cancelled, it wasn't dead, it was worse than that, it was irrelevant. When games like Warzone and Fortnite took over, Fallout, and in all fairness many other game series, didn't receive any attention. The conversations faded, the excitement cooled down, and outside of its most dedicated fans, Fallout was simply forgotten. No one turned against the series, they simply stopped talking about it. Gaming moved on, as it always does, and this is natural for video games. I can't say I was an exception. Games like Elden Ring or Baldur's Gate 3 completely took me away to a different plane of reality, and just made me kind of forget about Fallout. And without a new release to pull it into the conversation, Fallout became something people respected, but no longer followed. You could feel it in the way people talked about the future of the series, not with excitement, but with resignation. Guess I'll just wait for Fallout 5, a sentence that sounds hopeful, but really means waiting in silence. But even in that quiet period, Fallout never truly died. Mods kept it alive, the lore discussions never fully stopped, and the world was still there, unchanged, waiting. It just needed a reason for people to come back. Fallout has been around since 1997, back when RPGs came with manuals thicker than modern game patches, so Fallout has always received love, just very quiet love. It lived in late night forums or niche YouTube videos with 26 views titled "Why the Enclave Was Actually Right." Fallout never screamed for attention, it just whispered, and for a long time, gaming culture wasn't really listening, because Fallout is slow and uncomfortable. Fallout asks you questions it doesn't answer. Most games tell you, here's the villain, shoot him, feel good. Fallout asks, what if everyone here is wrong, including you? There's no glowing marker telling you which choice is morally correct, no cinematic payoff that reassures you that you did the right thing, just consequences. That kind of storytelling doesn't explode overnight, it waits, and for years Fallout existed ahead of its time, offering depth in an era that rewarded immediacy. But now, the culture has shifted. Long form content thrives, video essays dominate. People want stories they can sit with, not just react to. Fallout didn't change to meet the moment finally caught up to Fallout. If Fallout had a sacred text, it's Fallout New Vegas, a game developed in just 18 months, and not by Bethesda, but by Obsidian, released unfinished, unstable, and still unforgettable. But New Vegas isn't just about the apocalypse, it's about what follows. It's about rebuilding, and then the realization that humans will recreate the very systems that destroyed them, just with different flags. It doesn't give you heroes and villains. Fallout New Vegas is one of those games that really questions your morals as a person. It asks you, is order worth freedom? Is democracy still democracy if it's manipulated? Is survival enough, or do values still matter? And the scariest part? There's no perfect ending, only trade-offs. Back in 2010, this felt like science fiction, a massive RPG where your choices genuinely shaped the world. But today, this is the standard. Modern RPGs are built on systems that New Vegas helped to popularize. Branching narratives, faction reputation, moral ambiguity. Fallout New Vegas didn't just age well, it became a blueprint. And that's why people still argue about it, still replaying it, putting in thousands of hours, still analysing it. Because New Vegas didn't give answers, it trusted the player to sit with the questions. One of the most powerful things Fallout does, across all the games, is know when to stay quiet. There are long stretches when nothing happens, no dialogue, no quest updates, just the sound of wind moving through a ruined world. And in those moments, Fallout trusts you. It doesn't rush to explain itself, it lets the environment speak. You walk into a room and immediately know something went wrong. Not because a character tells you, but because of what's left behind. A skeleton slumped over a terminal, a child's bedroom untouched, a holotape that was never finished. Fallout tells its best stories without ever even putting them in the spotlight. Entire lives are communicated through placement alone, where someone was standing or what they was holding, and that silence is intentional, because Fallout understands something that most games don't. Sometimes the absence of sound is heavier than dialogue. There's no cinematic swell when you uncover these stories, no moral speech, no clear takeaway. You're left alone with the implication, and that makes it personal. They aren't scripted moments meant to impress you, they're fragments of a past, meant to be discovered, but not consumed. Fallout doesn't treat the apocalypse like spectacle, it treats it like the aftermath. You don't see the bombs fall, you don't see what happened after everyone else was already gone, and that's why the world feels believable. The ruins aren't just decoration, they're evidence. Evidence that people lived here, loved here, planned futures that never arrived. Even the empty spaces matter. Long roads with nothing at the end of them, collapsed building that serves no gameplay purpose, places you visit once and never return to. Fallout allows emptiness to exist, and in modern games where every inch of space demands content, that's rare. Silence gives Fallout weight. I think that's something that Fallout and The Last of Us have in common, being able to tell a story, not through dialogue and speeches, but through world building and the environment. They give time for the player to reflect, to imagine and to fill in the gaps. And because the game doesn't force meaning onto these moments, they stay with you. You remember them years later, not because they were loud, but because they were quiet. That kind of storytelling doesn't age. It doesn't rely on graphics or technology. It relies on restraint. And in a medium that often fears silence, Fallout embraces it. And that's why its world feels alive, even when it's empty. And why years later, people are still wandering its wastelands, listening. Now, I mentioned the mods earlier, and like every Bethesda title, the mods are what has kept Fallout alive after all these years, preserving all of the game's lifespan. Much like the Elder Scrolls series, Fallout is a perfect long-form content game. You don't just play it once and call it there. You can always come back with a fresh new mod list, which means a fresh new playthrough and a fresh new experience. Mods let players reshape Fallout into something personal. For some people, Fallout became a survival game. For others, a hardcore RPG or a completely new narrative experience. I know multiple people who have all told me that they have bought Fallout 4 just for the mods. They're 200 hours deep and not even finished the main story. They just keep telling themselves, well, what can I change this time? So, why now? Why does it feel like everyone loves Fallout now, out of nowhere? It's not because Fallout changed, and it's not because of a TV show. It's because Fallout waited. It waited through the silence, through trends it didn't fit into, through years where depth mattered less than speed. And now, people are ready to listen. Fallout doesn't promise comfort, it doesn't promise happy endings, it doesn't even promise that you'll be right. It only promises that your choices matter. In a time where so much feels out of our control, that's powerful. Fallout isn't about the end of the world, it's about what survives after. The ideas, the values, or the people. And maybe that's why Fallout never truly disappeared. It was always right here, just waiting for the right moment. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and subscribe if you'd want more content just like this.